approach the bar close to the shins, like the first clip said, you're going to have your feet underneath your hips.
Okay, so on addressing the bar, we want to load ourselves from the top down, so keep yourself nice and organised. As you go down to address the bar, as you go to the bar, you should have that lumbar spine in place.
At all times we want to have what we call a big chest. So imagine if you had a cool t-shirt and you wanted to look at yourself in the mirror and be able to see the cool t-shirt the whole time. To do that, you're going to have to keep a big chest.
Bar for that setup.
Just make sure that the knees are behind the bar the whole time, not dropping in front.
Okay.
Action!
Often if we're lifting heavy, this grip will start to fail over time, so a good way to combat that is to use an alternate grip, which will involve one hand being supplementing and one hand being pronating.
We want to make sure that the bar is over the right point of the foot, so what we're going to do is bring ourselves in here and look at the little toe and where the little toe crosses with the rest of the line of the foot, and that's about the right sort of position we want.
Position, your knees are going to be behind the bar, but your shoulders are going to be in front of the bar. Drop it down, knees behind the bar, shoulder in front of the bar, and you grab.
As we lift with the deadlift, we want to keep the bar as close to the shins and the thighs as possible. We don't want to let it come out. Okay? So when we lift, we get nice and close to the shins.
In the deadlift, our arm should be a straight line of force. So the reason that we have our shoulders in front of the bar is because the joint of the arm is actually here. You may think it's here, but it's actually here. This is the glenohumeral joint. So when you're down in the set-up position, your shoulders are in front of that bar, creating a straight line of force.
Action.
Okay. To improve your lift, we want to take out any slack that's between the bar and the plate. So as you are against the bar, lifting it up, you're just going to make sure that any sort of slack between those discs and the bar is removed.
Also known as taking the tension out of the bar.
Yeah.
Go.
So once you're in your setup, as you start to lift, you should only have movement at the ankle, knee and hip. So as I come up, my back stays nice and straight, and then I push up my back. That position only moving here, here and here.
When you prepare to lift the deadlift, you shouldn't be comfortable. So I can be down here and I feel great. That means I'm not ready to lift yet. So I need to be raising my hips up until I feel a load in my hamstrings and it's uncomfortable, and that means I'm ready to lift.
Heels, so not letting you going up onto your toes. If you're struggling with that, you can bring your toes up to ensure that you're keeping the weight through your heels.
When you set up, before you go down, you want to breathe and exhale and make sure your abs stay tight and keep them constant all the way down.
Be passing it. Off you go.
Alright, we want to find the right foot width we're going to use for deadlift, so what we're going to do is just a quite natural leg jump here, and when you land, that's about the right sort of width you want.
Another technical point with deadlift is you want to make sure you don't drop before you pull. So when you get in a position, a lot of people tend to go down and up. You want to make sure the bar doesn't rattle. You start with tension on the bar when you lift. Engaged yesterday, everyone went, oh shit. It's like, no.
Off you go.
When we deadlift, as we've already established, we keep the back nice, lower back tucked in. But when we get stuck, we don't want to hyperextend. We want to stand up with our chest out.
Go.
When performing the deadlift, your hips and shoulders rise at the same rate. Your hips open fully once the bar passes the knees.
And rock.
Okay. A common position for deadlifting, straighten through the neck, crane in the neck. We want to keep neck neutral, reducing any stress through the spine.
Yeah.
On the deadlift descent, the first movement should be pushing the bum back while keeping the bar against the thigh.
Yes. What I'd like to talk about next. It's a really important bit, and it's grip. Okay. There's 3 grips, and I'll just show them really quick. One is the overhand grip, which is just how it sounds, just like that. Second one is a mixed grip, like that, or like that. And the third one is a hook grip, where we grip our thumb like so. And that just helps the bar not slip.
When you get set up for your deadlift, You want to make sure you're under proper tension. One of the easiest ways to do it is when you get set up, you can actually load up the hamstrings by opening up the hamstrings and then dropping again, opening up and dropping until you're in your perfect deadlift position. You'll feel your hamstrings tighten progressively until you do it fully stand.
Come on, Ollie, let's see.
A very common problem for new crossfitters, especially in men, they tend to be quad dominant when they deadlift. So what I want to do to make sure that we're activating this big meaty glute muscle and the synergistic hamstrings here is just to break at the hips first, and then you can really contract the glutes while they've still got some flexion in there to ensure you're using the glutes when you lift, and just remember that, what that connection feels like.
Okay, almost there.
Okay, and if you're struggling to get the hamstrings loading, and you sort of find that the knees are coming forward in your deadlift, using sort of two little magic fingers, pushing the hips back until you can feel those hamstrings loading, and then you can see that your knees are behind the bar, just saying you need to be in a perfect deadlift position and ready to lift.
So a common fault at the top of the deadlift, especially on heavy loads, is to finish with the hips slightly closed and lift the chest up too early. We need to make sure that we open the hip fully.
This is just one about resetting. Often when we lose form when we touch and go, so if we're doing, especially in high rep workouts, we might start to round out our curve. So it's a good idea just to come down, take a moment to reset, load up again and go.
Yeah, one of the big ones that we all forgot is the stripper deadlift. The stripper deadlift being done like that. And when it's done by a very attractive female, that's not attractive. What you want to make sure you do is you don't want to open your knees too early to a good morning. You want to make sure that when you get in position, you actually open your hip by driving with your shoulder to make it to a good deadlift.
Okay, let's go.
With the feet width, we want them under the hip and to actively try and push the ground apart.
At the top of the deadlift, stand tall, put your shoulders back.
Yeah, no one to go with it. Good.
Actually, to follow up on that point, before you actually grab the bar to make sure that your back isn't round at the bottom of the deadlift, you want to pull your shoulders up and roll them down so your lats are pulling your shoulders into position, so that when you're here, your shoulders are actually active versus grabbing the bar and then trying to pull your shoulders into position.
When you want to establish your grip, an easy way to do this is by putting your thumbs on your thighs and coming down the mat and grabbing the bar.
If you need to confess that you're beaten, that we humiliated you with a deadlift, you're more than welcome.
It's a deadlift.
You need to make sure that your knees are rolling in, so keep pushing them out.
Almost there.
A common fault on the deadlift is for the knee to break too early, slide the bar off the thigh. What this causes, once you get past the knee, for more weight to come through the bar and it ends up pulling you down.
And go.
Deadlift used to be called the health lift. It's very good for you.
So assuming that you're properly set up for your deadlift and everything's going very well, there will be a point where if you feel something break, you have to bail out. There's a high probability when you're doing very, very heavy deadlift and you're pushing your hips back, your back will round right at this point. Don't be afraid to just let the bar go.
Okay.
When doing the deadlift, a lot of guys tend to let their ego become a main factor, and a problem that does occur is when they get to their quads, they tend to let it lean on their quads and they rest it on their quads, and you can potentially hurt your back doing so.
Following on from that point, if you're resting the bar on your quads and then you start hitching, that's called hitching, that doesn't count.
When doing high rep deadlifts during a workout, the standard is you must go to full extension, and when you go back down, the bar must touch the floor. Doing them from here does not count.
I might break your wooden plate too.
Okay, try not to, but
So on high rep deadlift workouts, we don't want to bounce the bar into the floor, especially when we're using rubber bumper plates. As the bar comes down, we don't want to push the bar down to bounce it and get a rebound.
Right. The reason we deadlift is because it teaches us in a controlled environment to pick up heavy loads, and also offers the largest hormonal response of any lift that we do.
Has a problem maintaining lumbar curve at the very bottom of the deadlift, and no matter what they do, they can't seem to maintain it. We can actually get a couple of bumper plates to lift the deadlift up about an inch.
And
If you have, often guys have really tight hamstrings, so a good way to kind of stretch this out before they do it would be to lay down in front of the pole,
Get them to put the hamstring up, tight and contract and relax.
This is not a deadlift.
Follow-up point to Simon's is if you want to test whether or not, can you just stand right there for a second? If you want to see whether or not a client has a hamstrings that are too tight, you get them to sit on a box and extend both legs. And if they have a lot of problems in their lower back rounds, you can immediately identify the problem.
One problem many women have, they tend to have better mobility than men, so the lumbar curve is sometimes hyperextended even from the bottom, so that the midline is too far back.
There are a few different positions that you can use for your foot placement. Everyone does the CrossFit positional placement when you have your feet right on your hips. There is also a variation when you go a little bit wider to protect your spine. It's called smooth.
I don't think we have any sincerity in this. Have a look.
We can, are you recording?
Yeah,
Okay.
recording.
We can develop your snatch off the ground by using a snatch grip deadlift. So as you come lower, a snatch grip deadlift will actually bring you into a lower deficit setup.
To actually follow up on that point, you can do the same thing. And in addition, if you have someone who's very, very flexible, rather than setting the deadlift higher, you can actually set the client higher just to make them more comfortable at larger range of motion.